Hey Falls, and welcome back to the start of another video. So we're looking at wedding venues today, which is so crazy. I emailed a bunch of people and have gotten responses from a bunch of people. So this is the first of 4 I think I have scheduled. I have 3 for next week. Today is Saturday and my parents and I are gonna go look at it. Obviously Hudson and I are doing long distance, so he will not be here to look at the venues with me. So that'll make for an interesting wedding planning, but it'll be good. I'll try to send him lots of pictures and videos and we'll make a decision together. But this is so crazy. I can't believe this is actually starting and like it's becoming real. I feel like the venue is like one of the biggest things you do, because then you have your date set, so it's like you can set out your invitations and all the things. So, and it's just like the base, it's where everyone comes and sits and eats and all of those things. So it's just a little crazy to me. So we're gonna go check out the venue and we'll probably have to leave in an hour because it's about 40 minutes away, and we'll see you guys there. We made it.
This open? Yeah.
Oh, look at the doggy!
Comes out to greet you.
That is so cutie. Hello. Okay, so change of plans. So I've actually visited all the venues now. It is a lot of time later, a good month later at least. So these appointments got changed multiple times because of the weather and for various reasons. So I've now seen 5 venues and we actually have chosen our venue and we have a date and all that stuff, but I want to go through all of them. You guys can think about which one you think we chose and then I'll tell you at the end. But so we'll start off with the first one, which we saw a long time ago, and I'll just overlay the videos that I have. So this one was really cute. This one I want to say was like it was definitely the farthest one away. It was like 50 minutes I think, and it was like a brand new facility. I think they said they had like 7 weddings there so far. The major con to this one, and the reason we kind of just like took it off our list right away, was that it was too small. So for a lot of weddings these days, they do like what's called a flip. So they have all the tables for the reception already set up, ready to go. So whenever the ceremony's over, they just move the chairs, pull the tables to where they go, set the chairs around them, and then it's done. So the room has to be big enough to have the tables already set around the room or in the back or something like this. And that one was not big enough for that one at all. And we don't know how many people exactly we're gonna have yet. I'm guessing it's gonna be between like 100 and 150. So it's not like crazy big, like 200, 300 people, but it still is a significant amount of people. So you just want to have space to like do everything that you want to do. And it was a really beautiful area. The bridal and groom suite were good sizes, and yeah, it was a really good place, but it just was not big enough. But the outside was super cute and the inside was really pretty. And the other con to this place was that there was just not really any scenery. So it was just nothing. Like there were some hay bales which were gonna be gone, but there were no trees or like anything like that. So you definitely have to take all of your pictures inside, or I don't even know where else people would take them, maybe in front of the building. But yeah, there was just not a whole lot of scenery to play with when it came to photography. Okay, so the next one we saw was a while after that, so a couple weeks after, and this place, this is called Rick's. So I should say all of the places, I guess. So the first one, I can't remember what the name of that one actually. I have a list to my left, so if you see me looking over here, I'm referencing it because it's where we had our top 3 places. So I'm just having to go off memory for that one, and then the one other that we didn't include on this list. But this place that I'm talking about now is Rick's, and when we pulled up to it, it was so nice. Like it was such a nice little drive. It was like 40 minutes away. Let me see. Actually it's 35 minutes away, so it was a nice little drive out there, and it was super just like sweet on the inside. I love the warm wood and the huge garage doors and the huge windows at the front where you would get married, and it was just so beautiful. It's a red barn, so that's like super classic. And then I think the big draw for me was just the look of it, because I always thought that I would get married outside, but then when you think about like practically like the wind's gonna be blowing, people probably can't hear very well, and just all the unknowns. So I think the outdoor weddings are so beautiful, but for the time that we're gonna get married, it's gonna be super hot, so it just makes sense to get married inside. And so I love that there was such big windows, because it was like getting married outside but in an indoor setting, if that makes sense. And then the sunset was so beautiful that night. And the cons to this place were that the bridal suite was a little on the smaller side, and the groom suite was like almost non-existent. It was so tiny, it was like a closet. So that was kind of a con, which I think you just have to like weigh the pros and cons to what you want, like what's most important to you. Like if you think you're not really even gonna get ready at the location, then it's not that big of a deal. And to me, a lot of this wasn't that big of a deal, so we're just figuring out like what we wanted and what was going to be easiest. I think that's my biggest draw, is like what's the most convenient, what's going to be the easiest, and stuff like that. So anyway, the outdoor was absolutely beautiful. They had 2 fire pits. They had plenty of chairs. You would need some tables extra to rent. They had a few, but not enough. They did not have a sound system, which was kind of a bummer, because that means you would either have to rent that equipment or hire a DJ. And then the other pro to this place was that it was a pretty good price. So this next one is Greenleaf, and this one was pretty close as well. It was probably 35 minutes away. This one, it was super white on the inside, which is originally what I thought I might like, because it would just be easy to decorate, which I understand why people paint everything white, because it goes with everything. But I just feel like comparing it to Rick's and how warm and like how much I loved it when I first walked in, it just was like, oh, like I just was a little disappointed. So it was still really nice. It was spacious. There were a couple weird things about it, like the bridal suite connected to the kitchen and the bathrooms, and so it was like you use all the same area with everybody, so that was interesting. And then the groom's room was significantly better than Rick's. It had a lot of seating, it had a TV in there, so that's super nice if the guys needed to hang out all day. There was somewhere for them to go. The bridal suite was beautiful. It had a huge couch in it and plenty of mirrors and a window and all of that good stuff. But just because it was situated over there, it was just kind of strange. And then the outside was really pretty. I think you could get pretty good pictures because you have a pond there. There's lots of trees around. You could do it inside. You could do it in front of the building. So that was really good. And the sunset was really beautiful that night, so that helps as well. It also had a built-in sound system, which got really loud, which was a perk because then you don't need a DJ at all. You can just, it hooks straight into your phone. It also had a projector, which is super nice. It just drops down and can go back up. They had plenty of chairs. I think they had plenty of tables. Yeah, so there were a lot of pros. There were some cons. It was pretty good price, and yeah, it was interesting. I think the people that also are like showing you the venue play a lot into it, because the ones that I was more drawn to is like the people that were super welcoming and inviting, and I was like, oh man, like they just could answer all my questions and were so helpful, and I feel like they would just get everything done that needs to be done and I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I feel like that played a big factor into why I liked some of these off the bat more than the others. So this next one is called 810 Ranch, and this one, let's see, was 45 minutes away. When you drive up to the property, it has a gate and you come in and it kind of feels like it's in its own little area, which is nice. That's how the other two felt as well. They weren't just kind of like in the city, like where there was a lot of surroundings. It was just kind of on a plot of land, so it kind of felt isolated, like it was your own space and stuff like that. So that was super nice. So the inside is huge, like it's just this big room. I really liked the black floors to contrast the white walls, because like I had said with Rick's, I love the warm wood, and so coming into the area that was just so like, it was just white everywhere, I enjoyed that. At least the floors were dark to contrast it and give it something. So this place, I also had huge doors. So this lady, she was so funny. She was 6 foot tall, and so when she looked at me, she was like, "You're 5'9", aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm 6 foot." And so I made these doors 8 foot or 9 foot on purpose so that you would feel small. Like she just, or maybe 10 feet. I can't remember how big they are, but they're big. And that's on one side of the walls. And then at the front, at the where you would get married, there are huge windows, and so I really like that aspect again of the outside kind of being on the inside. They also have a sound system, which is super nice, and the bridal suite is huge and it has its own private bathroom in it. It had like a fridge, couch, plenty of seating. It had a window in it for lighting, all of that good stuff. And then the groom suite was really big as well. It has a couch in there, a TV, and a mini shuffleboard table, which is really cute. And the positioning of the groom's rooms are very interesting as well. So a lot of them are at the side of the big empty hall, and so originally I didn't really love that because I was like, well, then they're gonna have to leave like half an hour early to get in the back, like where we're all gonna come out of. But my dad told me that people used to always do that when they would get married, is the guys would come in the side and just stand where they were gonna stand. They wouldn't necessarily come down the center. So I've kind of warmed up to that idea because that's how a lot of these venues were set. But that is just something interesting. And then the outside was really pretty. They had a ton of trees, there was a pond, and the inside would make for really good pictures. Even the front of the building, I thought I'd seen online, made really good pictures. It's hard to also envision what it will look like when all the trees are like alive again, since everything was just completely dead because of the winter and the ice, that all that stuff came. So it's just, you really had to use your imagination. So some perks to this one again was that the bridal and groom suites were really big. That's probably the biggest that they were at any venue. They had all the chairs and tables we would need. I mean, we probably need to store some tables because we probably won't even use all of them. That was so many. Also, some of these places had linens available to rent, which was super nice because usually you have to outsource so much. So having it in-house, if there's like a good price, like compared to where you would get it, that's kind of a perk. So this place did. The last place, I can't remember if they did. I think maybe 2 out of the 5 places, or maybe 3. I know the very first one had them available for rent, so maybe 3 out of the 5 had them available. And usually they're just in white and black. This place also had it available in gray. So yeah, overall I just really enjoyed this place. And yeah, so moving on to the next one, the final one. This is venue number 5. This is called Steel Barn, and this one, it was kind of like a combination of Rick's and 810. So those are the 3 that were on my list that I like wrote up, and I compared all of them, like everything. I broke it down to price and like additional prices for different things, how many tables, linens, chairs, sound system, all of those things, and I wrote it completely out so Hudson and I could compare, because he didn't get to see these in person. I just had to send him all these videos. So Steel Barn was like 810 and Rick's Place had a baby. So the inside, it's very warm. It has that warm natural wood, and then there's like some black beams throughout it. They had huge chandeliers. They had tons of tables and chairs ready. I did like about this venue that the groom's and bridal suite was in the very back, so when you walk into the building, that's where they're located, and it's separated by 2 huge doors. So that would be super nice to just come down that way. It was nice that there was a bathroom in each of the suites. We barely peeked into the groom suite because this was actually the only venue that there was a wedding going on when we went to check it out. So I felt a little bit uncomfortable, like, oh, I feel like I'm intruding on their day, but it was like really early. It was like probably 10 in the morning, so it wasn't like they were about to get married, but still there were like guys in the groom suite, but that was pretty small, and there's really nothing for them to do. It's just like sit on these like bar stools that were in there. And then we didn't even look in the bridal suite because I was like, oh, that's just their space, so I don't want to get in there. But it seemed like it was probably a medium size from the pictures I've seen online. And then there's kind of a little bar area where you could put drinks or like use it as a guest table, like for gifts or a guest book sign-in and all of those things. And then again, those huge doors separate that from the huge hall, which that room was huge, like it was massive. And so I really liked the windows at the front of the building, but that was pretty much the only windows that they had, and then there was a door on each side. So that was kind of a bummer that it was just only those windows there, and I was like, I don't know how the lighting would be with pictures and videos and all that stuff. Obviously that's not my career, so I don't know how all that works. And then the outside was super nice. There was a patio. It was not covered, so it might be a little hot if there's not shade, but they did have some yard games, which is super fun. And then for pictures, there are some trees around the property, but it was a lot of just like land. So a lot of these places I was just thinking, like, where would we take pictures? So I think you would take probably a majority of those inside, or maybe the front of the building. Yeah, this place, I feel like when there's just a bunch of land and the trees are not, like, they're not bloomed and green and stuff like that, it's just kind of hard to picture like how they would turn out, so you kind of have to just look online and imagine it. So this location was one of the strangest ones that were there. So as soon as you go into the outside, you look to your left and there's someone's house, and there's just a guy hanging out with his dog, and I was like, hello. And then to your right there's like, I think another house maybe. So that was kind of interesting. It was almost like, I don't know, it wasn't, definitely not in a neighborhood, but it was just like very close proximity to other people's land. And so it was just kind of interesting. Since I feel like because of the location, you had to be out of there by 10 o'clock and the music had to be done at 9:30, which if we're gonna drive like 45 minutes to a location anyway, I feel like people are gonna want to leave at an earlier time to get back at a reasonable time. So yeah, that wasn't a huge deal to me. I think there was a lot of pros with the price being one of them. They had chairs, they had tables, they had linens available for rent. There was a sound system. I like the location of the bridal and groom suite, and that they had an on-site staff member for when you have your day of. And also the lady was just so nice, and you have so many different like things you can look at online to make your floor plan, and you have meetings with them, and it just seemed like she was gonna be super helpful, so I really like that. She also had a room of just complimentary decorations that previous brides had used, or they had gone to like showrooms and gotten it, and so you can get that, you can just use whatever you want in that room, which is super nice. So this one, there was a huge draw to it because it had that warm wood, but there was the like cons of like not so good for like pictures, and just like, I don't know, there were definitely pros and cons to this place. So after talking it over with Hudson, and we were just thinking about like what's gonna be the most convenient and what do we care about the most, we decided on 810 Ranch. So we are going to be getting married there, which is so crazy. We have it booked, we've picked our date, and yeah, it's crazy. Whenever he comes into town, we're gonna go check it out so he can see the place, and that's gonna be so fun. And so the part I didn't tell you guys about is that location, the owner of that venue, she also owns a restaurant that's like a mile away, so that's probably who we're gonna do our catering through, because it's just so convenient. You won't have to pay like a catering fee to get people out there like 40 minutes away. And then the linens are there, the sound system is there, it's great for pictures, and they have the huge suites. And she really has just thought of so much since she and her husband were in the catering business for so long and did so many weddings. They built this venue with that in mind, and all of the things she had heard brides say they wish they had, and the things she wished she had as a caterer. Like their kitchen is completely ready for like any kind of party. They have an ice machine, they have heating ovens, and they have fridges, all of the things that you need, so that's super nice. So we decided to go with that one, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. It's so crazy to like actually have a place where you can picture yourself like walking down the aisle and how you want it to look and all those things. So it's really fun. I feel like we've gotten the biggest thing out of the way, so that's good. Now we're just moving on to the other things, which I feel like there's not that much more to do now. Like we just have to figure out like flowers, who's gonna be our photographer or videographer if we do that. I have to find a dress, Hudson will have to pick out a tux, and then we'll have to ask our bridesmaids and groomsmen to be a part of our bridal party, send out the invitations, all that good stuff. So I just feel like that one thing just like accommodated for so many other things that I don't have to think about so much now. So I feel good about it, and I'm just very excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned to follow along with this journey. I can't wait to look back at these videos in like 20 years or show my kids and stuff like that. Like that's gonna be so fun. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, whatever day of the week it is, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, pals.